In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Red?
Gone are the days of Pons and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hey, welcome
Howdy,
back to Next Gen episode 2, where we're going to talk about nerd stuff and Boba Fett episode 2. If you're joining us for the first time, this is a show where we complain about nerd stuff for about 2 hours. We've been really consistent on 2 hours. It was never planned. We just happen to do that a lot. Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Fine and dandy.
Doing great.
We're joined today by my friend Tanner, who's still finishing his dinner, by my brother David, who is a Star Wars nerd, and
That's
my
me.
cousin Jared, who is single.
That's the best we got. Sorry, guys.
Hey, don't apologize. The man's available. Ladies, you can DM him at. No.
Not sure if I'll get that information out on the internet yet.
We also may have a fifth joining us later. I don't know. But yeah, this is the best generation. Obviously, we're very accepting of other generations. You know,
As long as they admit that we're the best.
as long as you admit that Tamagotchis were flipping awesome.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, welcome to the show. We've got our same dedicated 3 viewers who are very awesome. And because I'm not eligible to be monetized yet, I can't even activate super chats, which means that if you comment for free, we'll probably read those. So give us your comments and suggestions, and we're gonna have a grand old time. How's everybody doing? I already asked that? Don't answer.
Well, I guess the people in the chat could tell you how they're doing.
Okay, how's everybody in the chat doing? No, how are you guys? How are you guys doing? I'm excited. I love doing these now. It's become a part of my routine.
I'm doing good. I got some good ravioli.
Oh, all you
Nice.
need is a little bit of good ravioli.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I've liked this stream so much. I've bought myself fancy sodas that I'm gonna drink on the streams.
I was gonna. What you said, Tamagotchis. Any of you guys ever have the? It was like a little Pikachu Tamagotchi that looked like.
I didn't get any of the branded ones. No.
It was cool. It was like it had a D-pad and an A and a B button. It was really tiny, and it was like you took care of Pikachu. You had to.
Wow.
You had to walk to make it. It was like the precursor to the little Pokeball pedometers that came with
Yeah.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and that's the one that I had, and I really liked it.
I'm actually surprised that like it didn't become a branded thing. Because everyone loved Tamagotchis, and the obvious transition would have been to Pokemon. Right?
Well, they did do. I think they did do a Digimon or something, right?
like or Digimon, obviously, right?
Yeah. Well, they did. They had some Digimon type of Tamagotchi type of things, but they were Digimon specific or something.
But
I
they
don't know.
weren't like
I never
true
got those.
Tamagotchi.
No, I think they were their own separate thing, but it worked identical.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't have any of those.
Yeah, me neither.
I think we only had one, David, that we shared. Right?
Yeah, we shared it between
we
the two
didn't
of
even
us.
we didn't even have our own Tamagotchi.
If I remember right, we got a color that we didn't like or something, and my best friend in school had one that was gold colored, and I thought that was so cool. So I scraped the paint off of the one we had.
I remember,
and then it was just
terrible.
like this. Yeah, it was just awful white with like key scratches in it.
I remember that because I think we got a pink one, and so
there's something like that, or red. I don't know.
Those things would always die when you were at school.
Oh yeah. So and you couldn't. You try to feed your Tamagotchi while in class, but then you get it taken away from you. So it's either risk getting it taken away, which you'd always do, or
try and explain to your mom how to feed it while you're gone. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, they always died at school. So
I wish kids still use Tamagotchis. That would be an easier problem to deal with.
Yeah, Tanner's a teacher, and I'm sure. I mean, you've told us some of your horror stories about what kids do in school. So
I have to be careful when we do it live for the sake of keeping their private information. If I say something, I might get fired.
We don't want that.
Yeah, no.
But trust us, he's said some things. Yeah, I'm excited to talk Boba Fett episode 2 with you guys. I'm also super excited to finally have Tanner back on the stream because I never got to hear what you thought of the Wheel of Time finale. So I think we should start just briefly talking about the Wheel of Time, and then we can transition. And
I haven't watched it yet.
You haven't?
I went on vacation with my family. So
you missed the last episode. Talking
about right before the holidays, I was super busy, because I gave final projects to my students, and then right after that, me and my brothers went home to California to visit my parents, and then we took a trip to Hawaii. And so,
excuses.
I was doing stuff the whole time, and anytime there was a chance to watch TV, my brothers would turn something on, and they would pick what we were watching. So I didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
Well, there goes that idea.
I did finish the book, though. I did
nice.
finish Eye of the World. And
so did my wife, and then she picked up The Great Hunt and finished it in 2 days.
Wow.
That review's dropping tomorrow, boys. Of The Great Hunt. I already heard. What?
Said can't wait.
Yeah.
First one was great.
Yeah. What'd you think of the book?
I liked it. There's obviously still lore that I have to learn.
The ending's a little weird, right?
Yes, but I did think that for that book, it ended well, and it was a good ending. I also like when the confrontations and the conflicts are more internal and metaphysical. It's more about the characters making choices and overcoming things rather than a big magic fight. So I liked that.
You're gonna love this series.
All right.
You're gonna love this. But I'm just thinking about how the final book ends, and I'm like, okay. Well, I guess we can't even talk about it. But I guess it's safe. It's safe to say that the show hasn't made the cultural impact that I think everyone was hoping for. if you haven't, if it's been like 3 weeks and you haven't gotten
I-
around to watching the finale.
I watched both episodes of Boba Fett this week, so I could talk about those.
Okay, fine. Then let's do that.
And
Let's
I
talk
also
about-
picked up the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, and
Oh.
that's
nice.
pretty fun. So I've been doing other nerdy stuff.
Isn't it just the Avengers video game reskinned?
No,
not?
it's much more story focused.
Okay.
And you only play as Star-Lord, and there's a cool mechanic where you have to do your fighting as Star-Lord, but then you're also giving commands to the other characters to fight the enemies and do stuff. And
Okay.
and it's
You're giving commands to your team.
yes, and it's
Okay,
actually it's a lot more than just the Avengers, which was just press buttons and you do stuff. It's a bit more strategy focused.
I wasn't even in the least bit interested in playing the Avengers video game because, like, my opinion was like they just barely managed to make a passable Spider-Man game. I doubt that they've perfected making one that's good with everyone.
Which one did you say was barely passable?
No, I didn't say. I didn't mean barely passable, but the new the PS4
PS4 one. That's
That
a
game
great
is
game.
great.
Yeah, the new Spider-Man one. I know, but like, it's taken a long time just to get that.
Oh,
right.
gotcha.
It's taken so long just to get one superhero right that I doubt that a game full of superheroes is going to be fun to play.
It was
Tell
Like,
that to-
maybe one of them would be good, and then the rest would be boring to play. That's what I'm assuming it was like.
Tell that
I
to
never played
the Lego Marvel superheroes.
The Lego games are so good.
Yeah, they're fun. They're great
Those
with
are-
kids too.
My wife hates video games, but she'll play the Lego games with my son.
Yeah.
if you want to play a Avengers game, I would say buy the Lego one and save your money because
Yeah.
I didn't even finish the story mode on the Avengers because I was playing it and then it was like, this is the final chapter. And I was like, what, that's it? And then I think the idea was you hop online and play team ups, but I'd already done enough of that in the story mode. It's just a beat 'em up with the same enemies over and over
It's a
again.
hack and slash.
And it got boring.
Kind of like
Um,
the Marvel movies, right?
Okay, all right. Well, do we want to talk about that? Because I can.
Some of them are unique, but you got to admit
Yes.
there
No,
is
yes.
it's often the faceless soldiers.
They've got it down
Army.
to a science and a formula, and sometimes it's good, other times it's the same old.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Boba Fett episode 2. We've all talked about episode 1. What did you feel? How did you like the first episode, Tanner?
Let me
You
think.
weren't here for that.
Can
What
I just say
happened?
that I actually watched the episode this time? So
Oh, right, you hadn't seen it either. So I guess we can talk about episode 1 a little bit.
So my understanding that the general consensus on episode 1 was, oh, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
But I could tell that they're setting things up, and I liked the lore building that they're doing. I think that that's one thing about these franchises that is kind of missing, where you get the continuation of the main story,
Right.
and it's very the worlds and the aliens and all these things are kind of very surface level in the movies, and then with these shows we get to learn about kind of more of the in-depth stuff, and that I really like the different factions of the gangsters and the huts and all that stuff. I'm really excited to see where it goes, and because I think that brings back for me the way I felt as a kid, where we meet, this is going to kind of date me, we meet the Ewoks, and it felt like, you see the sets and they live in the trees, and you kind of get you spend some time with them, you get a sense, oh, this is like an alien race and the culture and stuff. Whereas in the sequels, it was like, oh, here's this planet, we're gonna go here, and now that we've got the dagger off of this planet, we're gonna go to another one to get it, and it's not like exploring the ideas. But with these shows, we get to see it, and so I really liked the build up towards what's going on, and then in episode 2 even more so, but I'll wait to talk about that.
Yeah, I think I definitely like the potential. I did not love the execution of episode 1. I do think that the episode 2 has come around a little bit and recovered its footing a little.
I think it is a little better. It still does. It has some issues, but not as many as the first one. And I think we're a little bit too harsh on the first episode. It had a lot of.
I don't know.
I mean,
after we had our discussion and I went back and watched it, I was like, "Yep,
yeah."
totally solid.
There's some major issues, but I do agree with Tanner that it's
atmospheric.
The world building that they're doing, giving us some more in-depth info on the Tusken Raiders and the criminal underworld. It's exciting to see that stuff, and I'm excited to see what they have going forward. But the episode itself had especially the choreography, the fight scenes, and and that issue with them not using the water from the moisture farm. That was
just walking past it.
Yeah, there's just a couple plot holes that are like, why did you do that?
Oh, there was another problem with episode 2 with water, but
yeah. Yeah,
I'll concede that point. I'm enjoying the world building. Some of it brings up more questions though for me, which I'll get into. And I guess the prequels, right? They obviously tried to do more world building, and a lot of people didn't love those. But I think that a TV show is a much better environment to be able to do this kind of world building.
That's true.
So, so the show definitely has that in its favor.
Yeah, and I do think that the greatest strong suit of the prequel trilogy is the world building. I think they did a really good job with building the world. It's just the dialogue was yeah. But the dialogue was
horribly written dialogue, which and that's something that a lot of people haven't talked about. The dialogue in the original trilogy is often similarly bad. It saved a lot in the edit and with just the actors' just sheer charisma, right? And a lot of improvising lines and stuff. But if you listen to the actual dialogue, it's very similar. Like George Lucas does not know how to write people talking. He's good at a lot of other stuff. But if you what the scene that particularly comes to mind and stands out is in the Return of the Jedi, episode 6 or 3 or whatever, when Luke on Endor, after they're with the Ewoks and Luke is talking with Leia, the conversation that they have is so awkward, and it is very reminiscent of Attack of the Clones, Anakin and Padme talking about sand and weird dialogue.
I don't think it's not as bad.
It's not as bad because the characters have much more charisma.
Yeah.
Right. But if you listen to the actual words, it's like, what is this writing? It's weird stuff. I don't remember what the point of that was, but that's something I've noticed.
That conversation was, hey, we're going to have to split up. Just FYI.
Also, we're probably related.
Yeah.
And there's weird sexual tension the whole time.
I was going to say, the part of the reason that one might be a little awkward is, context. But
yeah. So, Jared, what were your thoughts on the first episode?
On the first episode, I thought it was weird. It was a weird episode. And generally on the second episode, basically, I'm like, he's kind of a wuss. I mean, like you got like one scene where he like takes charge, but like other than that, he's kind of a wuss.
I think one of my
Yeah.
biggest complaints is the show can't figure out if they want Boba Fett to be cool or not.
I agree.
Because
Well,
half the scenes, half the time, he's just getting the crap beaten out of him, and
Yeah.
then every once in a while, you'll have a scene where he's just really, really cool.
yeah.
So
Like in the bar, the fight scene in the bar was fantastic
awesome.
in episode 2.
I wonder if that's are we doing this like in order of scenes or
No, I haven't broken
shoot-
it down like I did
shooting
the Wheel
off
of
the
Time.
cuff?
I have
thi-
a whole bunch of bullet points, and they're mostly just questions.
I wonder if part of the reason why we have that flip flop between with the gangsters, he's like getting his butt whooped, but then
because of
in
the
the
time is the
in the
timeline.
Tusken Raiders scenes, he's a bit more in control, and he's
Well, the Tusken Raider scenes is half and half too. Like he gets his butt kicked by the woman, by the lady, nameless sand
Tusken
person.
Raider.
well, she's training him.
No, the when he
No,
could have
before that.
escaped in episode 1, he just gets the snot kicked out of him.
Oh, okay.
But then
He
again, that was when he was
Instead of
dehydrated.
when I think of Boba Fett, he's like this ruthless guy from the original trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Who Darth Vader has to specifically point out and say, "Don't disintegrate anyone. I want you to bring them back alive." Like this is a guy with an attitude. Like in the I haven't watched all of the Clone Wars TV show, but there's an episode that I have seen with him in it where he's trying to kill Mace Windu in revenge for killing his daddy, and he is ruthless. He's willing to blow up an entire cruiser filled with younglings just so he can also kill Mace Windu, who's on the ship. And like this feels like a completely different character to me.
Yeah, I agree. It's like they can't decide if they want him to be a hero or a villain.
Yeah.
You know?
And like just lean into it. Like we like anti-heroes.
Yeah.
Just make him have like kind of bad morals, and but if he's cool, we'll be okay with it. Like the other thing on that same vein is I'm liking the world building that we're getting in the development with like the culture of like sand people.
Yeah.
But that also feels out of place to me.
Well, although there was that one line, I think that was
that there are different groups that are warring.
there's different groups, so it's kind of like Native
and he
American
just happened
Indians.
to find the nice group of sand people,
Yeah, exactly,
and immediately knew that these ones were the nice guys, even though they kidnapped him and tied him up and were going to feed him to their dog, and they also kidnapped another guy. They don't seem like the nice guys. Like I just watched,
but then they also didn't raid the moisture farm.
because
already
that was
raided.
the little kid. He was escorted with the little kid. My problem is like it feels off. Like it feels like we're trying to like humanize like terrible people, because like every other instance in the Star Wars show, like the sand people are not the good guys. They see that Luke's aunt and uncle are dead, and they immediately suspect, oh, this was probably sand people, because this is a thing that happens all the time. And you get Anakin's mom, who's captured and tortured for a month. I just watched the Clone Wars or the Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Rise of the Clones, Rise of the Attack of the
Clones.
Clone Wars. Yesterday with Elliot, because he hasn't seen the prequels. Oh my god! So my 6-year-old Elliot has seen the original trilogy about 30 times each. He loves those movies, and I keep trying to. There's more Star Wars movies. You can watch the prequels. And when we started watching the Phantom Menace, the entire time he's just like, when is cool stuff gonna happen? And I'm like, oh,
there is a lot of negotiating and talking in the first one,
and the second one too. The last half of the
true.
second movie is pretty exciting for a kid, but like the first half is like, ooh, pears getting sliced in half with the Force. And he said in the second, we haven't watched the third one yet, but in episode 2, he's like, Dad, can we just watch stormtroopers fall off the cliff, which is what he calls A New Hope.
Nice.
But yeah, like in that movie, like they take Anakin's mom and they torture her for a whole month. And like this is like a thing that they regularly do, and it's established in the show that they do that too. It's like it's weird that we're like, oh, but they're just misunderstood. They're like the train just fires on them randomly, even though like they were behind a dune and probably out of sight, and it doesn't make sense.
That was a little bit weird.
Like they're trying to turn them into victims, and I'm like, I don't think these are the people that we want to like sympathize with, but. I don't know. I don't know enough about Star Wars lore if there are groups of sand people that are nice guys, but I don't know.
Well, that's obviously what they're going with.
If I'm okay learning about the sand people who are evil, if we lean into it, I'm okay with it. But it's like this gray area. They can't decide if they want Boba Fett to be cool or lame, and they can't decide if they want the sand people to be bad or not.
Yeah. Also, I didn't realize this, but I think it's the original actor that did
It is
Jango Fett, right?
Yes,
in the original one,
and he voices all of the stormtroopers in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, we either got to keep that helmet on, or we got to figure something else out. Because
he pulls it off in every scene. I'm
like, come on, this is not Boba Fett. This is just some bald dude. Like,
one of my notes is, "Let me take my helmet off real quick."
Right? I'm like, keep the darn helmet on.
It was It was like right after he got attacked. The next scene, he's like, "Okay, I better take this off."
Yeah.
Like, dude, keep the dang helmet. I mean, maybe it's hot. Maybe the visor fogs up. I don't know, but like,
so I do got to correct you real quick though.
Before that, like I really admire Pedro Pascal in The Mandalorian. He only takes it off twice, like the whole thing. Like he's got a face that you want to see, right? And so I totally understand an actor being like, no, come on, you gotta let me show my face. And I think
he's going to show his face. I think he's going to show his face a lot more in the third season of Mando when that comes around.
Yeah, well, because he's kind of become disillusioned with the whole like religion thing, but
exactly. But I do have to correct you real quick. Tamika Morrison is the actor that plays Jango Fett in the original one. He did not voice all of the clones in the Clone Wars animated series. I
thought he did.
No, that's D. Bradley Baker. He does
he did a really good job of sounding like him.
Yeah. D. Bradley Baker is a really good voice actor. He does all the clones, and
he sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
All right, you fooled me.
Look at that. That's how you know this is a nerd discussion when someone chimes in and is like, "Well, actually, the voice actor."
Oh, just you wait! I'm about to blast you with
so
some
excited. This
deep
is great.
Star Wars fan knowledge.
Show you. David's got some Star Wars comics.
I got some comic books. I'm gonna bring this out later in the discussion.
Yeah.
Some tidbits of knowledge from that bad boy.
David also has a bunch of Star Wars minis from like board games that I've never heard of and no one plays.
Is it like Star Wars Legion or X-Wing?
Yeah.
No, those are the two I don't have.
Oh,
I have Star Wars Imperial Assault and Star Wars Rebellion.
Okay.
Great games.
Yeah, Tanner.
I've been thinking I do mini painting. It was actually Alan that got me into mini painting with D&D. And
I've been 3D printing a bunch of new ones like all week.
I might
nice.
need
to make a video on that. You teased your 3D printer like months ago.
Yeah, I haven't
used
it since.
Video.
I just barely picked it back up. I've been busy.
I think so. I'm a bit confused too with the Boba Fett character at this point because, like, this is supposed to be. I guess I'd like to know the timeline. How long was he in the Rancor's stomach? How long was he?
Like 30 minutes tops.
How long was he with the Sand People?
It shows him still with the Sand People in Mandalorian season 1 or 2.
Yeah, so we
the
know,
whole time.
Yeah,
it's been 5 years. He's been with the Sand People, and then he finds his armor 5 years later and shows up at the end of Mando.
So the issue is, like, 5 years storyline, but like a whole bunch of time between the last time we saw Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi and now. And the actor obviously is not even the same person.
Yeah.
And so like with the mask coming off, we don't know how old he was then. Like, was he this old bald guy back then and now? And I think keeping the helmet on would keep some of the mystique of the character.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did I say a Rancor? Not. It's
Yeah,
the
you said
Sarlacc.
Rancor.
Yeah,
You
but
did.
he was in the Sorry. Hey, Jay Diggity.
Nerds, yes, we are nerds.
Yes, please correct us on our nerd show.
So I
We
think
highly encourage it.
if he does have this time with the Sand People, admittedly, some of his more intense, the reputation we would have are with these Sand People, and so I'm wondering if over time something happened, and that's
turns
why
him into a wuss.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't say a wuss, but like the marketing for the show, it used that quote a lot, like Jabba ruled with fear, and I tend to rule with respect. I'm wondering if
I want to rule with kindness.
With kindness, not respect. Kindness.
No, he
I
says
thought
respect.
he said respect.
No, I've been saying kindness
okay.
because that's what they're saying, but they're saying respect.
You're right.
So I think thematically, this back and forth, it's probably not intentional, but you could read it like that, where it's something happens in his past, because we're flashing back to it while he's healing in the Bacta tank, and like in the Sand People scenes, he seems to be at okay health. I don't know why. Like, he recovers, he gets rehydrated, looks like he's fighting at top shape. But here in the present, he's going into the Bacta tank to heal from something.
His skin is still all messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It seems like every single time he takes a punch, he has to go back into the Bacta tank and have another dream about the Tusken Raiders.
There very well could be an explanation for his change, but like I don't think so, because it's been inconsistent in the flashbacks as well.
Yeah,
but that's just me. I've got so many notes.
So here's another comment real quick about that tank we just mentioned.
Bacta tank.
I really hope that we don't have to see that every time.
Every time there's a flashback. Yeah,
like just show the flashback.
We get it. There's 2 timelines. You don't need to show him in the Bacta tank every time you go back in the past, right?
Seriously, it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah. I will say that the flashbacks are way more interesting than the actual story, and in this episode, it have more screen time as well. We spent more time in the flashback than the actual story, and I'm not interested in the actual story yet. But the flashback is cool.
For now, it's more interesting, I think. But what's he going to do hanging out with Tusken Raiders for 5 years? We've got a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah. I felt like that was a very that was an arc in the flashback story that felt like it was complete.
I hope we keep getting more, because it's more interesting. Because I'm looking at my notes and I just have it's mostly questions. Why is this? Why this? Why this? And then I get to the flashback section and I kind of just stop taking notes, because this is much better. But yeah, most of my issues are not with the flashbacks; they're with the main storyline. Where are we in the timeline, though? It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since episode 6.
Yeah, so it's in respects to the other shows, the bits about him with the Tusken Raiders is right after episode 6.
It's directly after episode 6. He falls in the pit and he jumps out.
Yep, and then the stuff with him as the crime boss or whatever is just after the 2nd season of The Mandalorian. So jumping back in time between those 2 timelines.
Okay, so my first note is assassins? Really? They were assassins? We get confirmed that the people who showed up in episode 1 were actually assassins.
With some non-lethal weapons.
Even though their plan was to poke him with sticks constantly that did nothing, right?
That really wasn't dumb.
And not only are they assassins, they're like professional grade assassins who were awful and just surrendered to the instead of running away, or like a poison dart would have been more effective, right? These assassins were very stupid.
They also gave up the information real quick.
Well, yeah, and
They
my
never
note,
talk.
my note is Fennec does all of the interrogation for Boba Fett. Boba Fett doesn't even get to do like a cool. And she pushes the button too.
Yeah, you're right. Although
And I'm like,
I did
why
like
can't Boba Fett be cool here? Like, I get
know.
like Fennec is not a bad character, but like this could have been a cool moment where we get to see his ruthlessness, like straight up torturing a guy, and that would have been cool. But no, the scene that we get to get the information out of the assassin thinks that it's very clever, and it's really just stupid. The assassin was willing to let his head get chopped off. Then she drops him into the Rancor pit to make him think that there's a Rancor, and he gets scared and says, "Oh no, it was the mayor. You scared me."
yeah.
Like I feel like getting your head crushed by a Rancor would be just as painless as getting it chopped off.
I think it'd be more painful, but if he's not afraid of death either way, then it shouldn't
Why would
matter.
that scare him? Like the
Yeah,
movie
exactly.
thought that scene was super clever. Like you could tell because she was like smirking. I tricked you. There's not an actual Rancor in the Rancor pit that died in the last movie. You've been tricked by a smarty McGee, and it was dumb. I really hated that scene.
They should have done that for that stupid Twi'lek
They
ambassador
should've-
guy in the first episode.
The mayor's ambassador is like just
It's
does
so bad.
not like horrible acting that doesn't belong in Star Wars. He feels like he's in a different franchise.
Yeah.
He feels like he's in a parody of Star Wars. He feels
He
like
really
he's in
does.
Spaceballs.
He really does.
I think the overacting's on purpose.
I was gonna say, I actually don't think it's that bad of an
I
acting
don't
job.
think.
No.
I do not think.
Oh, come on. He's
Yeah,
like
that
a
is-
Zazu, like he's supposed to be overly pompous and stuff.
Yeah.
And I honestly think he's the one that hired the quote unquote assassins and not like the actual mayor itself.
Okay,
I do
maybe.
not
just
think
hate
that
his
the
voice.
show. I do not think that the show is actually as clever as you think it is. But if I'm wrong, I will eat my hat. I will buy a hat and then eat it.
I was gonna say you don't have a hat.
Um,
No, I just hate his voice. You know, Twi'leks are supposed to be
yeah,
this
the
foreign
way that he's talking just
French
sounds like
accents.
it
typical,
sounds like a high school, community theater, just overacting because he wants to get noticed by a I don't know. I just don't like him.
He does. He does want to get noticed.
As a former high school and community actor, I take offense to that. You never know when your big break's gonna come. You gotta be on every single performance, baby.
There could be a recruiter in the audience
Who
right
knows?
now.
They're gonna get you for the Olympics. I mean, wait, wrong. Okay.
Why did he remind me of it, dude? Jay Diggity. As soon as you said that like it clicked for me. Yes, he sounds a lot like Crispin Glover in at least in Back to the Future.
And
Oh,
why should I not take Hamlet's monologue for my own? I am only stagehand number 2. Yeah, I feel like this scene would have been a lot cooler if you got to see Boba Fett being, okay with torturing people.
I agree.
But that wouldn't be ruling with respect. So they got to have Fennec do the.
You got to rule with kindness, with respect.
Yeah.
So then I have a note. Why do they keep making the same joke about his litter? Anytime he shows up, like they've done it like 4 times now. Like, oh, I didn't see your litter. Like he's clearly not as fat as Jabba the Hutt. Like he doesn't need a litter to get around. I don't know.
Well,
I don't like that they keep
they're
doing
just
that
saying-
joke.
I think they're just trying to say that he's not like he's not accustomed to the.
Yeah, but they've done it like 4 times now. They keep making the same. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your litter.
Well,
I can
he's-
walk.
He's going to different people each time.
Yeah, I know, but the
that it
audience
says it.
isn't going to different jokes.
I don't think it's supposed to be a joke, Alan. I
No.
think
Yeah.
it's legitimately
it's
a way
played off.
to characterize it.
I don't know. It's played off comedically.
I don't think it's very much a characterization moment to show just how much he's standing out and breaking the mold for the criminal underworld that
All
he
right,
is now
then
occupying.
come up with an original way to do it the second time instead of having literally the same line.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll give you that. They could have used a different way
Also,
of doing
okay,
it.
so we're at the mayor's office right now in my notes, and my question is, why is the door not locked? Like he says, "I'm sorry, you can't go see the mayor," and then Boba Fett just walks up and pushes the button, and it opens up into the mayor's office. Like, is there no security in this place? Like, does he not have to have credentials to get in? And like, what?
No, they're all in the room. Did you not see all the security that's pointing at him?
But but like, wouldn't the door have like a key that you need to use to open
Yeah.
up so that you can't assassinate the mayor?
Have you seen any keys in the
Yeah,
Star Wars universe?
all
They don't
these
have
doors
keys.
just
No,
open
it would
with the
be a
press of
digital.
button.
It would be a digital signature. It only opens for the mayor, and it's the future, guys. We
Well,
have that kind of
okay.
stuff now.
So
It's not the future. It's a long, long time ago.
in a galaxy far, far away,
Oh boy.
Okay.
Boba Fett
Whoa. Jared
is
just went.
technically. Oh, you looked like Luke hiding under the
Yeah.
staircase when he's
Yeah.
fighting Darth Vader and Jedi. I will not fight.
What a great finale. Let's have our character not fight.
Dude, that
I know,
moment was
I know. It's
iconic
great,
for me
it's
as
great.
a kid.
Narratively, it's a really great turn, and it's interesting because it's unique. It's not the most exciting finale though, because they don't fight.
Since I was a kid, I like the character moments
Yeah,
rather than like
yeah.
the fighting, and so I love that with Luke, and I maybe that's why I'm enjoying this more. Like I can tell what I would do is these first 2 episodes we're exploring the change that happened to him as he was with the Tusken Raiders, and then also him trying to take control of this criminal underground. And I think him trying to rule with respect is going to get tested until he finally snaps, and then we'll get to see some real cool.
I'd love
I
that.
sure hope
I would
so.
love it.
But
I hope so. Yeah.
Why? Okay, why is the door not locked? I think my biggest qualm with what's going on in the main story is like we don't understand his motive or his
Yeah.
goal at all.
I agree.
So like have you noticed that it's just Dune?
Like this.
It's Dune. It's Dune. It's straight up Dune.
I'm in charge of the. I honestly.
He is Boba Fett is Leto Atreides.
I referred to I was
The-
watching. I referred to
the-
the Sand People as Fremen as I was
The
watching.
Sand People are the Fremen. The Jabba's brother and sister are the
Harkonnens.
Harkonnen.
Yeah.
It's literally just Dune. But the problem
That's
is we
hilarious.
don't know what Boba wants.
Yeah.
He goes and takes over Dune. He takes over the spice mining. He gets his tribute from people, but we don't know why he's there. We don't know what he wants. If we knew what his motive was, then I would care about the politics. But like I'm so disinvested in the main story because I don't know what anyone wants. Like that's storytelling 101. The character has to have a desire. Otherwise, why tell a story? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that's a key element for sure. Because especially,
there's even spice.
yeah, I know. I know. I was like,
Okay, go on.
Where did that go? But no, like, because for example, Boba Fett talks a little bit about like how he got the right to be the mob boss or whatever, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, Jango.
He just showed up.
Yeah, and he's like, and I killed this dude, and he was,
And
the
that makes me the new
now I'm
boss.
the boss. And you're like, okay, well, like, why is that important? Like, you killed some dude. Okay, you got his property, but What's up?
Yeah.
That
The-
is that is a big problem. I think honestly the way that they should have gone with this is just have a musical number where he sings about what he wants.
Yeah.
I was
There you
watching
go.
Beauty and the Beast right before we started this, and her opening song is literally like, "I
It
want
tells you-
adventure,"
And
like,
it happens
it works,
at the
and it's
beginning
good.
of the movie,
Yes,
so
yeah.
you know what she wants.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
there with it. I think that's. I don't know if they're trying to. I haven't watched Breaking Bad. If this is like he's trying to take over like the criminal thing.
Yeah,
And just
from
because he
episode
wants-
1 of Breaking Bad,
Yeah,
it
you know
tells
he's-
you what the character wants to accomplish. I think that's kind of what they're going for, but they're obviously
think-
they're trying to do political maneuverings and stuff.
I think they're gonna do a. I just had this stroke of inspiration. They're gonna do a reverse attack of the clones, and someone's gonna kill all the Sand People, and he's gonna be mad about that. So he's gonna try and make grand sweeping changes in the area to do it. And we're gonna have a scene where he says they killed them, not just the men, but the women and the children.
No, because
And they're
his group of Sand People are the nice Sand People, and so it's the other factions that get killed by Anakin Skywalker. I think that the Sand People are still going to be around because we saw them in Mandalorian. It has not that much time has passed. They're going to be his secret weapon of how he enforces the things. Like, but also like he has like no one with him. It's just him and Fennec and 2 green pigs, and for some reason everyone's giving him tribute, which brings up a problem in episode 2 when you find out that the Jabba twins, what's the name of the alien race?
The
David?
Hutts.
The Hutt? Are they're all called Hutts?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. The Hutt twins show up, and the lady at the speakeasy hovel sanctuary, they call it, right? Like it's a whorehouse, right?
Yeah.
The brothel.
The lady at the brothel, when he goes to talk to her, because before that, did the assassin lie? And if he did, why would he lie?
Exactly. That's
I don't understand. Did the mayor want to assassinate him, or did he want to give him information? It's very unclear.
Yes, I think it's the Domo. It's the Domo.
Yeah.
He's behind it all.
Okay, it could be.
I don't know what it is, but the Domo's behind it all.
But it's more Dune though. Everything is Dune. The assassin, okay. So he goes to talk to the leader, the lady in the brothel, and this is the next day. It's only been one day. He talked to her yesterday, and she gave him tribute. And then he comes today, and she says, "Oh, don't you know the Hutts are coming to town, and they've staked claim on your tribute." And literally everyone knows except for Boba Fett. Like they say, "Don't you know?" That the mayor knows, she knows, like people on the street know that the Hutts are in town. So why did everyone pay him tribute yesterday if they knew that the Hutts were coming and they had claim? It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense that Boba is the only one who's surprised by their arrival.
Well,
If he
been in
is
the back
surprised,
tank.
he's completely incompetent.
He's been in the back to tank. He just woke up from his healing
His back
spa
to
day.
Which brings up the question: why are people paying him tribute then?
Well,
Yeah.
well, and here's the other thing too. Like that scene was just weird because he like walks into the bar or brothel or whatever it is, and everything looks normal. But like the mayor's like, "Go there and you'll see what's happening." You're like,
yeah.
it
Why
looks
does he say go to the brothel and not walk outside? The Hutts are there.
I know, right? It's like I don't get what I was supposed to see
I don't
when
know.
saw that.
It wasn't. It didn't make sense. It didn't
Yeah.
make sense. Okay, so then we get the Hutts, which is cool. We get some not Jabba the Hutts.
Can I just real
Yeah.
quick before the way I kind of understood the scene was that they knew the twins were staking claim to Jabba's
But
stuff.
they didn't know that they
Not
were
that
here.
they were there
Okay.
on the planet. So then the drums and the
Yeah,
it's like,
but-
oh
but-
crap.
Everybody
actually
knew that
here.
they had staked their claim, and yet the day prior they were giving tribute. And
I
so
think
don't-
I would interpret that as Boba's a fish out of water, where he's not like he's trying to make this claim to power, but he's not as
okay,
in the intricacies as he thinks.
okay. But if you are not Boba, you're a regular person, and you say, "Hey, the Fets have staked claim to this place, but also there's a guy who's living in the tower right now, so I'm going to go pay him money instead of waiting a day and paying it to the Fets, who are obviously like,
Well, he
I
did.
don't know."
He did murder Bib Fortuna, and maybe the Hutts were letting him just run things out
Maybe.
of sake of simplicity.
Maybe.
But then Boba coming in and be like, "No, I'm in charge now." That pissed him off, and now they're here to
Maybe
kind
they
of-
didn't know the Hutts were coming until they showed up.
Maybe. Okay,
I don't
so
know.
the Hutts are
It
here.
is messy.
And this brings me to my biggest pet peeve of the show. And I'm sure that it only bothers me because I've worked directly in translation. It bugs me so much.
All right, spit it out.
You have the brother and sister speaking their Hutt language, and it only translates the brother's speech. And it does it automatically in subtitles. You get subtitles for what the brother is saying. And Boba Fett can understand him. He's talking to the brother. The Hutt talks in Hutt to Boba. Boba responds in English, and they carry on a conversation. Then the Hutt has an aside with his sister in the same language that Boba can understand. And then the brother explains what the sister has said in the same language that she just said it. And Boba understands it. There's literally a scene she goes, "Baba deba chuba chuba hoba babala," you know, and he says, "Oh, my sister has said that she is very upset," in the same language. I know that it's nitpicky, but but that's my major. That's what I graduated in. Okay, like I do translation. It doesn't make sense. If he understands him, he can understand her. I don't get it.
That's a good point. I'll have to go back and rewatch that. But did she speak loud enough for
Yes.
him to hear
Yes.
me?
She does. She's speaking
No,
just as loudly as he is.
I think it's meant to be a stage whisper where we as the audience can hear it. But she's got like the fan over her and she's like next to him. I also think
That's
this is
how
a
I saw
moment.
it.
It's a moment of characterization to show he's the one front
It's
facing.
Poorly executed.
I know, and I know, like you said,
So it
you're
doesn't
probably
work
the
as
only one
well.
it bugged. I thought it was good characterization. The sister's probably the one with the actual power, and the brother is just he's the
Mouthpiece.
outward facing one
then
when
have
she's actually the one.
then you need to have 3 languages if you want to do that.
Or don't let the audience hear what she says.
Yeah.
Or have
Have
it
her
quiet
whisper.
enough. So yeah. I see. I'll have to go back and rewatch that, but it didn't bug me when
I'm
I
sorry,
was watching it.
it's actually really interesting. I love translation errors. The most famous thing you get is when you're translating Spanish into English. The subtitles will almost always include more swear words than are actually there in the Spanish. It's funny. It's funny. They'll use a very tame swear word like damn, and the subtitles will be like effing f like I'm like that's not what it means, guys.
Yeah.
But
That's
I'm
funny.
a nerd. I'm a nerd amongst nerds.
Speaking of translation errors, I guess, or inconsistencies in Star Wars, I think going off on a little tangent, but in the Solo movie, when Han Solo was able to speak Wookiee to Chewbacca, that was like never established in the thing. It's established that Han Solo
People
can
can
understand
And
Wookiee,
yeah.
but he always just talks to Chewie in regular
In English.
basic.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Well, I guess
basic,
if
but
they
yeah,
first meet, though, like it would be polite to talk in Wookiee. I just like,
But it just
but that's the problem with Star Wars in general. Like
Yeah.
everyone can understand the droids' beeps,
Yeah,
and just speak to them in
That's true.
English.
I-
Like,
But they don't talk to the droids with beeps though. you
No,
know?
yeah.
They could have done that, saying,
It doesn't make
and then
it already doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
like getting hot and bothered about him making grunts too is like, well, this just is on the same vein of not making sense. But
I know, but he could have just like translated what he says and say, "Hey, I understand what you're saying," but not speak in the. I just thought that was silly.
They actually
But anyways,
just make fun of that. I just started playing, so this has been like a Star Wars week for me. I watched episode 2, and I watched the Clone Wars and the ending of Phantom Menace with Elliot, because I was like, let's watch the Darth Maul part, and then we'll do Clone Wars. And then we haven't watched 3 yet, but I started playing Fallen Order, the new Star Wars game.
Such a good game.
So I don't buy games new. I wait like a year or two, and I get it for like a
Yeah, it was like
the
$5,
price.
wasn't it?
I got it for free with Epic Games. Yeah.
Epic Games
Oh,
gave it for free.
Didn't pay a cent for it.
What through Epic? Oh man, I wish I'd known that because I
Yeah,
bought it for like $5.
They have free games like there's always a free game that you can get, but it's a limited time. You have to get it like within the day. So I just started playing that, and they make fun of that. He's talking to his droid, and he's like, "Hey, BD-8, tell me a joke." And he says, and he says, "Oh, why? Or why does she say that?" That's funny. I'm like, it's so great. Like the joke was that like this is just nonsensical, and it was fun.
Yeah.
I want to shout out to the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, because I'm playing that game right now. They just have Star-Lord has a translation chip, and then it's established he doesn't have the Groot language in his chip, and that's a plot point.
So that's why it only says "I am Groot," because it's broken.
Hears "I am Groot" is because he doesn't understand the language. And there's
is that what he's actually saying phonetically, or is that just all they hear is "I am Groot"?
What they hear is I am Groot. There's a really great
that makes so much more sense than the movies.
Yeah, and
the movies just treat him like a Wookiee.
There was a great moment in the video game, and where he's talking to Groot, being like, "Man, I wish I could understand you, but I don't have it in my chip." And he talks about how he has it. He's like, "I don't even know what Rocket might sound like if I didn't have this chip," and that's the reason. Like it implies Rocket would make raccoon noises when he's talking, and that's how he can understand. I think that's great world building and something really simple to get around that language.
That's cool.
Donde está el crapatorio del Deuce? That is not how you say it in Spanish. Sorry.
Translate it for us.
It's just
Almighty
baño.
translator.
It's just baño. Or tengo que cagar. Which can be, depending on where you are, is more vulgar or less vulgar.
That's why I was laughing, because that's pretty vulgar.
It can mean I have to take a crap, or in Spain, it's pretty offensive.
I have to do it.
It's so funny. I love translation. I love Spanish, and like it's so funny. Like between Mexico and Spain, you get the same phrase that's like perfectly acceptable in Mexico or offensive in Spain, or the other way around. But it also happens within Mexico itself. If you just go to a different state, just one phrase can just be super insulting in one place and just like totally fine to say somewhere else.
I lived in Peru. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, the word pendejo means, like idiot. And it's totally fine to say in like southern Mexico, but if you say it in northern Mexico, it's like, whoo! It's like, you effing idiot. Like,
I lived in Peru, and I knew someone from El Salvador, and he would use phrases that to him were just
like,
normal.
You can't say that here, though.
And the Peruvians would be like, "Oh, what?" And so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is about.
It's like how African Americans can say the N-word, but we can't.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I think
it's probably that. It's probably similar.
It's a bit different.
If you say so.
Where were we?
Yeah.
The
Star Wars,
twins.
not.
We're talking about Spanish all of a sudden.
Talking about the Hut Twins coming in.
Okay, the Hutt twins, right? So then they show up, and I already talked about this, but I'm like, why does Boba even want this position? I need to know his motivation to care more about this conflict.
Yeah.
And then there's my note. Let me take my helmet off real quick so I can confront these people who will probably want to kill me.
So weird.
And I think that's all the notes that I have. Oh, but then they just like leave and they're like, "Oh, we don't need to talk about this right now. We can talk about it later."
Yeah.
But like, then why did they talk at all? They didn't say anything. I don't know.
Dude,
But then we get the
come and be
flashback.
imposing. So one more thing in this scene, they bring out a
Black Wookiee.
black Wookiee.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I drop some,
Oh, okay.
some
Okay.
deep nerd knowledge on
What's
you.
special about the dark Wookiees?
So this guy, he shows up in this
It's the same character.
comic here.
I've seen like pictures of him in the comics. Yes.
Yeah. So here's
I knew
him
they
in
were
this,
referencing someone. I just
this
didn't know who
comic
it was.
here. His name is Black Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum.
Oh, so he
Right.
knows Boba.
He knows Boba Fett.
Oh,
in
okay,
the
that's
comics.
why they have a history.
Yeah. So in this particular one, Darth Vader hires both Boba and Chrysanthemum.
He's a bounty hunter.
Yeah, they're both
Okay.
bounty hunters. And interesting, you couldn't really see it in the show, but he's supposed to have like a big scar
Scar.
on
Yeah.
his thing.
That's the picture I've seen.
It was there, but it was very faint in the show. Apparently, there's another comic where
Maybe he has a
fights
back to tank
Obi-Wan.
too.
Maybe, yeah. He fights Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan gives him that scar. So maybe
Okay.
we'll see him in the Obi-Wan series. That's probably what they're setting up. But anyways,
They don't have like a historic like backstory. They've just worked together before and they know who each other are.
yeah. So they both worked for Jabba,
Got
and Darth Vader in this comic, he comes and he hires them both to do some bounty hunting. He has Boba Fett track down whoever that X-wing was that blew up the Death Star. He wants to find out who he was because he felt he was strong with the Force. And in the end of the comic, he comes back and he said, "Well, he got away, but I found out his last name was Skywalker," and that's how Darth Vader finds out. He's like, "Oh, Skywalker, that's my son."
Did he track him down with respect?
No, he tracked him down with many disintegrations.
With disintegrations.
Yes,
Got
yes,
it.
disintegrations.
Yeah, nah, mate.
But anyway, so that's Black Chrysanthemum shows up in the comics, and
Cool.
probably see him in Obi-Wan is my my bet, and we'll probably see him face off against Boba Fett in this show as well.
The Obi-Wan. Oh, so
TV show.
Do you think the Obi-Wan show is going to take place like prequel to this?
Yeah, I think the Obi-Wan show, I think we've been told, or for what people are speculating, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but it's going to be Obi-Wan on Tatooine before A New Hope. So leading up into that, he's probably protecting Luke from Tusken Raiders or other people or whatever, and he's going to probably face off with Darth Vader one more time. And
Well,
probably
I mean, if
Black
they're bringing,
Chrysanthemum.
we know they're bringing Hayden Christensen in. They're not going to have them not fight
Right.
unless I don't know. They pull a Hawkeye and bring in Kingpin into the Hawkeye TV show and not have him fight Hawkeye.
Yeah. Well, they might not fight, but we've been led to believe that there will be a fight, and
It's gonna happen.
it pulls some things together because we know in the original series he is aware that that Anakin is Darth Vader and that he's become more machine than man.
He's become more machine than man with respect.
with respect. Nice. But anyways, so I like the little tidbits of world building and stuff that they're doing.
I think that the Obi-Wan show could be the best of
I agree.
the Disney.
That's the one that I've been looking forward to more than Mandalorian, more than Boba Fett, more than the Ahsoka show and anything else.
I just don't want it to all take place on Tatooine.
I agree. I think he needs to go off on some adventure and then, face Darth Vader and then realize in the end that he's got to stay on Tatooine and protect
Got it. Yeah.
Luke. And that's where it's going to end.
So we're to the flashback sequence, which is the majority of the sequence of the episode.
Yeah.
And my complaints get less and less nitpicky and more just like commenty. But I still have nitpicks because I like to complain.
Yep.
Is it too much to ask for perfection?
Yes.
Well, no.
All right, take us through it.
Sorry, my throat is like I'm coming off of a cold right now. Let me take my helmet off real quick. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was super weird that the train just opened fires on the Tusken Raiders.
Yep.
Like without provocation. Because it kind of felt like they were out of view. Because they heard the train before they saw it. They had to like move into position to get shot. And like apparently this has been happening a lot, right? The Tusken Raiders are like scared of this train, so like why not
Hide.
just duck or hide instead of like they literally like walk up to get killed. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that they're just getting shot at without like if they started shooting at the train, they'd return fire. Or maybe they've done it so many times, the train is just going to automatically shoot them. But that kind of makes sense. It's just weird that they show up and just start blasting. I don't know enough lore about sand people, but it seems like they were burning a lot of stuff on the dead bodies that they could have scavenged because they seem like they're desperate. And they're burning their masks. And then a couple scenes later, they're willing to scrap working speeders for parts. So it seems like they're hungry for parts, but they're also just burning stuff that they don't need to burn. I don't know if it's like religious, like you can't take off their mask. That didn't make sense to me. It seemed like a valuable resource that they were wasting, unless there's a reason they can't take the masks off.
I don't think that's something that was thought out. It was just, people are dead, let's burn them. That wasn't the point of the scene.
And yeah, that's my point. I don't think it was thought out. That's like, think things out. This is I
don't know.
It's okay to put effort into your shows.
That, though. I don't think that's for lack of effort. I mean, there's only so much you can do in the 1 hour. And how many episodes are they doing for the series? Like 8 or 9?
I don't know how many they're doing. That's a good question.
The Star Wars books do a very good job at going into details and doing all that. And that's something you can do in a book because you have the time and the only expense you have is your imagination and the pages and the ink. But with the show, you can't go into the very finite details of the sand peoples.
Yeah, you also don't have to ignore just inconsistencies though. Like that, I'm bothered by inconsistencies a lot.
Well, that one didn't really bother me because I mean we can see even at the end of this episode that the Tusken Raider robes are kind of ceremonial. It's part of their lifestyle. They address Boba in it at the end. Inducting him into a part of his clan. So I didn't.
He doesn't have a mask. Why didn't they give him a mask?
You're right. He doesn't have a mask.
He can use it. I'm assuming it helps with the sand, right? Helps you breathe.
I assume so. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
he would probably keep taking it off every other scene, though.
Yeah.
Let
me take my mask off. But yeah, I don't know. How often do you see Tusken Raiders without masks on?
You don't.
I don't know that you ever do. I think there may have been.
There's a picture of them in one of the. There's a couple comic.
I think there may have been some comics. I don't know if those are canon comics. They might have.
They're also inconsistent amongst those comic shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
What they look like. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I should be bothered by it, but I was bothered a little bit.
The way that I always had Tusken Raiders in my head is, they have these wraps on their heads and they never take them off, so their skin is kind of become fused with the fabric. That's how I kind of thought about the Tusken Raiders in my head. I have no idea if that's accurate.
That's not how skin works.
You try
I
keeping a bandage on 24/7.
Yeah, it doesn't fuse to your skin.
It does if you're in high heat.
I just assumed that it was to help breathe in the sand storms, but I could be wrong. I don't know the lore. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I do not know. I'm not that much of a Star Wars
Okay.
nerd.
So a bunch of them die, and then Boba Fett says, "I'm going to go stop the train," and then he chases down some strangers who have speeders, and I really liked the bar fight because it was finally Boba Fett being cool. My qualm with it is that he walks in and everyone knows he's there to fight them. When like everyone else had weapons, he could have just been walking in from the street and he sets his why how did everyone know that they're going to fight now?
Well, because he came in with a gaffy stick ready to.
It's they had weapons too.
Yeah.
He comes in from the road with his weapons, and you set your weapons down, and you get a drink. Like it just didn't make sense why everyone knew he was there to fight them, but the fight was cool.
I mean, if a dude's ready to fight, you know he's ready to fight. And I think that was the
I would have
point.
liked to see him walk in, and they're like, oh, and then I don't know, like slam some guy's head into the bar, and then oh no, we're fighting. I don't know. I just want some etiquette. I want some fighting. I want some bar fighting etiquette, please. Oh, good. And then the second note is good thing he practiced fighting with that stick for a whole day.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah. He asked to show him how to, fight with the gaffy stick, and then all of a sudden he's proficient and that,
like we already know he's a good fighter, right? But like,
yeah,
it was.
Yeah, I think that's. Sorry, go ahead.
I was fine with it. It didn't bother me that much.
I was going to say, I think they play a little bit more loose with time in the flashbacks, like the teaching the sand people how to ride motorcycle sequence. I mean, they don't show like days passing, but I think it's implied they do this over a series of maybe a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but still, you see their progression. They're jumping on and falling off the bikes, and all of a sudden at the end, they're parkour ninjas. Just like, all right, whatever.
And then he says, "These bikes are a gift for you," and then no stop, these are mine.
Yeah, I laughed at that too.
And I'm just like, that's not how gifts work, bro. He should have said, no, stop, these are for you to use. But he says, no, stop, these are mine. I'm like, nah, you said they were gifts.
Just gave them away. Indian giver.
Yeah.
And then there's my note about if they were strapped for parts to scrap those perfect, because like they're not stupid. They could have like sold them for money, right? Or scrapped them for like, I don't know what they need the parts for, but why burn the masks? I don't know. Didn't make sense that they were taking them apart. And then my next note is, why are they still on top of the train? In the train heist, which was fun. It was a fun sequence. They spent way too much time on top of the train after they established it was a much better tactic to just go into the compartment.
Yeah,
exactly.
But they just didn't do it more. I didn't get it.
Well, like they even show the hatch go up so that they know where the hatch is.
They know the hatches go up. Like they know how doors work, right?
Yeah.
And then they show the girl, the nameless lady sand person goes underneath and deals with all the guys, and then they all go back on top of the train. I'm like, just walk. It's safer inside, guys.
Well,
I know,
and
it's
it's implied there's more guys inside, so they could avoid them unless they come out to fight them. But yeah,
but they kept coming out to fight them. So just go inside.
Yeah,
they kept popping up and falling off the train. Like you would have lost like half your people if you just went.
Well, I'm not even that. There was that huge jet at the top, right?
Yeah,
and they're like
a pod racer engine.
Jet. It's like just go in the train.
Also, I hated that after the train crashes, the other sand people just catch up immediately. They didn't have bikes, and there's this huge long chase scene, and at the end of the chase, the people are already there. I hate that in movies, and distance doesn't make sense. Also, though, like, why did the robot want to crash the train instead of just stop it? I didn't understand that choice.
I think he
Did
was
the robot sabotage the train, the driver? He's like, oh no, we're being things, so I'm going to sabotage it and jump out rather than just stop the train.
I thought it was he was trying to speed up to get away and then lost control.
It showed right before that, like he started like sabotaging it. He like pulled off a thing.
I didn't see that he was doing that intentionally. I just thought he was trying to fiddle with
I gotta
stuff
go get my laptop
get away,
charger. I'll
and
be
then
right
it
back.
broke,
Maybe.
and then he's like, "Okay, I'm
Maybe it was an
myself out of
accident.
here."
I don't know.
Well, I kind of read it like you did, Alan. I was like,
It
okay,
looked like he was sabotaging it.
well,
but
yeah,
I could be wrong.
I mean, because and he intentionally jumped out, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Like if I can't have it, then no one will, right?
I
Like
thought he was just
Yeah,
bailing shit because it was crashing. I didn't.
Well, but he
Maybe he
had
was
control
intentionally
over it.
doing it.
He had control over where it was going and how it was working, right? And so it's like nobody sabotaged it until he jumped out.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
it looked like sabotage to me. I didn't
I don't know.
understand that choice because
We do not know his programming.
yeah, his
So-
motivations.
We'll see.
I thought the purpose of showing the robot fiddling was to show how complex the engine was and how they wouldn't be able to stop it very easily. They couldn't like slow it down. The only
To me,
resort
it
was
seemed
to-
like the company would want to recover their asset and not destroy it, but it was weird.
Well, they were criminals transporting illegal spice.
Yeah, we got the
And-
spice. It even has the same shimmer effect that they
Yeah.
used in the Dune movie.
Yeah.
And then my note is they are wasting so much water. Do people not like
Yeah.
come on? I hate that. It happens all the time in desert movies. They do that, and it's the water, and it's like and it's like the glorious moment at the end, and you're wasting so much water. Like the water should be part of your religion if you're a sand person, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Where can I get a brain tunneling vision lizard?
That was
That was weird.
So weird. It crawls up your nose, attaches to your brain, and makes you hallucinate.
Not only that, it crawls up his nose, and he's like, "I think I swallowed it." I'm like, "No, you would know.
You would know if you swallowed it.
crawled
You
up
would,
your
you would
nose."
feel it coming out the top of your mouth nose hole
Ugh.
and going down your throat. No, like it's implied that it like touched his brain sinus, right?
Yeah.
But like there are frogs whose if you touch their skin you'll hallucinate. That would have made a lot more sense to me than a lizard that crawls up your nose. And I thought it was like a consumable, right? Like everyone had to do that, but it comes back.
Yeah, it comes
Into
back
his
out of his
nose. I'm
nose.
like, what
It
is
was
this?
so weird.
What is this lizard? I
Yeah.
don't know. That was weird. All to get a stick, which they barely used any of. They whittled it down.
Yeah, I was gonna say
They
that too.
whittled it down so much it was just the tip, and like that's the part that you don't want to be made of wood. I don't understand how their weapons don't seem very practical to me.
Well, they fire harden it and reinforce it with metal and stuff.
But
You know?
it doesn't work with wood.
Yeah, it still could break.
Yeah.
But no, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, oh, great. He comes back with this huge freaking stick, and all that he uses is this like little portion. I was like, great.
Yeah, that was definitely nose lizard necessary.
well, it is very much a rite of passage to become a member of the tribe. That vision quest, and then
Yeah. Would it
crafting your own weapon.
Would have made more sense if they had him lick a frog than a lizard that crawls up your nose.
Yeah.
It was interesting though. I liked the vision quest, religious aspect, and it ends with a good old fashioned line dance,
But I gotta say that
like a
scene was
Bollywood
little
movie.
weird, though.
What?
Just the whole vision thing that he had. I was like, what is going on? Like, and then all of a sudden he's like, snap. And you're like,
Comes
wait,
back with a
what?
tree.
Yeah, then he comes back. I was trying to think of some metaphoric thing. I was like, what are they trying to show with this whole vision? Like, is he trying to leave behind the Mandalorian? I mean, the old Boba, or like, what are they trying to show with this vision? It was just some weird vision of him, and then it would show Boba. I mean, him in his helmet, and then it would. Yeah, I was like,
wouldn't it help if we knew what his motivation was? And then maybe you get hints in his vision about the possible outcomes of his actions. Like there's a positive and negative side. Like if you continue down this road, you might achieve glory, but you could also do like.
Something I just remembered. We are having some very brief glimpses back on Camino.
Yes.
And the death of his father.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if almost dying in the Sarlacc pit, if that's bringing up some lost daddy
PTSD?
issues. Yeah. Maybe that's going to be the secret motivation is something from his past.
Well, I hope they do something to tie it together because it's a bit jumbled right now.
I did enjoy the flashback a lot, though. Like once it got out of the main story, I was like, "Oh, this part's cool. Like I like this a lot better than the real story they're trying to tell." Ends with a big with a line dance, like a Bollywood movie.
Again, rite of passage.
Yeah, it's good.
I liked it as part of the world.
That's not a complaint. I just like that's how it ended. That's fine. I like the dancing. I thought it was very sexy.
How many Bollywood movies have you seen, Alan?
I've seen more than I wish to number on stream.
That would be like no offense to Bollywood.
I dated an Indian girl. Okay, she made me watch a lot of movies.
Did you ever see Singham?
That was probably newer. I don't think I saw that one. I definitely watched Bride and Prejudice several times.
Yeah, our dad thinks Bride and Prejudice is the best Pride and Prejudice adaptation, and watched it all the time in our house.
It has one good scene at the end of the movie where they're fighting in the movie theater, and their fight matches the fight in the movie. That was clever. The rest of the movie is
typical Bollywood.
Questionable.
It's typical.
Singham
there are some good Bollywood movies. Like some of their action is just so over the top that it's hilarious and a really good time.
That's what Singham is. That's like the one Bollywood I've actually seen.
There's some good Bollywood action.
That would be a good one to. I don't know if you want to try and do like a kind of mystery science theater 3000 where we.
That'd be fun.
But that Singham is wild, right?
You even know what that is. That's good.
I'd be down. I haven't seen it. I'd be down for some good old fashioned Bollywood. Text that name to me and I'll look it up.
Yeah, you got it.
So that's the end of the episode. It was much stronger than episode 1. Still have a lot of questions though. Mostly just like, what does the main character want? The theme song, David, you mentioned you hated it, right?
Yeah, I wasn't too hot on it the first time. It's just I understand what they're going for.
It sounds like it's from a Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah. I realize. I think what they're doing is, Tamika Morrison. I believe he's Polynesian.
Yes.
And so it's kind of, and even with his fighting, when in the bar scene, he's doing like the Polynesian fighting.
It's almost reminiscent of the
thing.
Hawkeye, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's probably what they're going for, is kind of some Polynesian chanting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't think it really fits.
The counterpoint melody underneath the song is actually really good.
Yeah, that part's fine. I just don't like the chanting, grunting part of it.
It could be better.
But anyway, yeah, I thought this episode was a bit better. Still, I mean, we were nitpicking, but it's not perfect. But I do like the world building they're doing.
It's also twice as long as the first episode.
Was it really? I didn't even notice.
The first episode's like 30 minutes, and this one's like an hour.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it was good. I just hope they do something to tie everything together and help us understand his motivations, because that is not clear.
Yeah.
in both timelines. Like, why is he just wanting to, gain the trust of these Tusken Raiders, and
Right.
why does he stick around with them for 5 years, and then why is he wanting to suddenly be the crime boss all of a sudden?
And I think that like a Star Wars like Dune story where it's about like political machinations, and like I think that could work. I just need to know what the people want,
The
so
motivations need to be more
I
clear.
care about their scheming, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think the show does have a lot of potential. I just need to see a little bit more effort from them. So,
yeah. One more thing: the guys they fight on the train are the Pike Syndicate. They are spice miners in predominantly in Kessel, the planet Kessel, where
the Kessel
they did
Run,
the Kessel Run. So we see them a lot in the Clone Wars series, especially
Yes.
toward the end, and then I think we see one or two of them in the solo film as well. But so I thought that was
special
cool.
About spice, and why is that's a bad sign?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I don't know
You
what
got
the heck they're doing on
spice.
Tatooine. What are they doing here?
If you got spice, that's a bad sign. How dare you bring spice to Tatooine?
Yeah, I don't know
Like, if
they're
we knew,
trading it, or
we just need to know why. We need to know the why.
yeah. But yeah, I'm hopeful.
Yeah,
They just need to do some explaining. It was a lot better in episode 1.
much better.
We need more character motivation.
You know it because I've said it.
You're so proud of yourself, aren't you?
Look, I obviously, like, no one's perfect, right? I know that I'm overly critical, and that I nitpick things. But there are plenty of shows and movies that have nitpicky problems that I don't even notice until like the 5th viewing, and even then don't bother me because the foundation is solid. But in a show like this, the little things stick out more and more to me, especially when the foundation is shoddy. Little things bug me more, and they especially bug me when there is an easy fix. When you don't even have to change like how you're going to film the scene, and you can tweak it with just a line of dialogue or a little explanation here and there. When it's an easy thing to fix without effort or money in the stuff you'd have to film, that's when it really bugs me. When you're like, there's no reason for this to be sucking right now. It could be better. That's what gets me the most. Like, if a movie sucks, I'm not going to hate on it but if the movie has the potential to be great and it chooses to not be great, that's like, that's what gets me going.
Hear, hear.
We could talk about Ant-Man if you want.
I think you've talked about because you love Edgar Wright as a
I
director.
love Edgar Wright is my favorite director of all time.
And you were very disappointed in the scenes that they kept that obviously were Edgar Wright.
Well, I was glad that was in there
least.
because it was just a small droplet of Edgar Wright that I got to have in my life. But I could see the scene. I know his directing style. I know his writing style so well that I could see where the movie was cut in half and sewn together. I could see the seams in the movie. This scene was directed by Edgar Wright. This scene was not. This scene was directed by Edgar Wright. This scene was written by some corporate executive, right? You could just see how the movie was just chopped together, and it's very disappointing. That movie has the same problem with the main character that this movie that this TV show does.
Yep.
They can't commit to morally gray. Edgar Wright wanted Ant-Man, whose name is
Scott Lang.
Scott Lang. He wanted him to be a criminal, to be a thief, and to be in the process of reforming himself. Because then he would have thieves' skills that he could use as the Ant-Man superhero, who's a thief. The movie, Disney thought people are not going to relate to a bad guy who's trying to be good. So they make his character not a bad guy. They make him commit a white-collar crime against an evil corporation. And all he did was change the numbers, to get, he was basically a whistleblower, which means he does not have the skills of a thief. So he's not the kind of person you would want to get as Ant-Man, because he doesn't have thieves' skills.
Yep.
It ruined the whole movie. Same problem. It's okay to have the main character be kind of bad. Just own it. But
I agree.
the show just can't decide if Boba Fett is cool or lame.
Yep.
I was right about it being a girl, though, right? That beats him up in
I
episode 1.
think. I don't know.
It's you can see her figure underneath her sand person dress. It's a woman that beat him up in episode 1.
I can see it being a feminine figure, but we'll find out.
It's a woman.
Well, maybe
Yeah, I'm excited to see where the show goes. I think it can be good. I want it to be better. I like Star Wars. Yeah.
I'd
This
agree
did-
with that. Go ahead, Dan.
This scratched my itch where the prequels didn't of the extended universe of Star Wars. And I think we talked about this at the top of the stream, but David said the prequels too. Those did a good job at building world stuff with like the Senate and all that stuff. And I think that's
They
what a
just
lot
didn't
of
do a great job at telling a story.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of Star Wars fans like is this
World building's great.
exploration of new places. And in the original trilogy, you had, brand new stuff. Like we see Tatooine for the first time, and like almost right away, just through the creatures and the architecture and stuff, we get an idea of what this world is. And then on the Death Star too. But now that we've seen it in the movie so times, we need a bit more than just, oh, check out this cool, interesting planet. And that's all the sequels did was, oh. And also they just kind of recycled what was already done. And here we're getting to see Tatooine again, but we get more info on it. We get to learn more about it.
Which is great. You're right, though. I did look up this unidentified Tusken warrior on Wikipedia, and it is a female. She's played by Joanna Bennett. She's a female stunt woman.
It's great. Where do you think they're going with the story? Like, what's the climax? What's the final confrontation here? It's hard to guess because, like, I don't know where they're going.
Well, I think that one aspect is that he could be falling in love with this woman.
Yeah.
And then she dies.
Tusken Raider.
Right. And then that motivates him to, I don't know. I guess part of my question is how is this helping him get his suit back, right? Or does he really care about his suit, right? Like what's
He seemed in the flashback. He seems to just not care about his suit anymore. He just wants to help out which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why he's just willing to give up his life to help these Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, so
Who
that I think
kidnapped
that's
him
kind of
and
what I
tried
wanna
to feed
see.
him to their dog. You know, like
Yeah,
I don't know what he wants. I don't know what the Sand People want. I don't know what the people on the train want. I don't know what anyone in this show wants. And that's the problem.
yeah.
Yep.
My
I do
guess
agree.
is if they're just going to stick to Dune, that the plot's just going to be Dune. So there's going to be an upheaval. He's going to get ousted from his spot in Mos Espa as the Mok Shaiz is the mayor. What's the title for? I wrote it down somewhere. The Daimyo, the leader
Daimo.
of
Yeah, Daimo.
Daimyo. There's a Y in
Mob
there.
boss.
Has the mob boss. So he's going to get thrown out by the Hutts, and he's going to have to use his resources with the Fremen to overthrow the Hutts. It's just going to be Dune. It's going to be Dune, guys. And he's gonna get a still suit. He's gonna put on
Well, he got a steel suit in
Sandman.
this
But
episode.
he's gonna put on a Sandman mask, and then he's gonna take it off so that when he confronts the Hutts.
Let me take off my mask.
And there's gonna be a scene where the Hutts, they're like, oh, this what's it called? Our litter is too slow, so they're gonna put little cybernetic implants in their backs that make them float.
Out in the world.
Oh, okay. You're making a Fat
A
Boy
Dune
Harmon. I
reference.
thought you were gonna say something plot important to the second half of Dune because I haven't.
Oh,
I've only got. That's why I took my headphones off. But
No,
you were
no,
just
they-
making.
they're gonna,
Yeah, you're just
the
making
levitation thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's literally falling in love with one of the Fremen, Sand People. And there's spice.
That would be.
Yeah.
That would be too almost that. It's like. I wouldn't be able to forgive them for that if they're just like, why don't we just borrow Dune and just because it's like it
They
was a
already
good-
have, except
It's a
they've just
good
taken
movie,
out
though.
everyone's character motivations, and you don't know what people want.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Like it's not. You guys got muted on me for some reason. I didn't hear those last
Oh.
comments.
You missed
But-
it. Too late.
There we go. You're back. I don't know what happened.
That's weird.
I couldn't hear you. But like, it's not just an obscure sci-fi book that they could. Well, they could get away with borrowing some elements, but it's like the movie was really popular, and so now people.
Well,
are like,
we also know that A New Hope borrowed a lot of ideas from Dune. He was very much inspired by reading Dune. I want to do my own thing, and that's fine. But this, I just there's so many parallels to Dune.
Yeah,
in
you're
this
right.
Show.
But yeah, Jared, I think you're right. I think something's going to happen with the Sand People. Either that female.
I think it's going to happen to
ninja
her,
Tusken
not
Raider
all
is
of
going to
them.
die. Yeah,
And he's going to use them as a resource to fight off the Huns.
Yeah. But something is going to happen. Probably she's going to die, and that's going to, for some reason, motivate him to
want to rule with respect.
instead
But it seems
of
like that would
violence
motivate
and
him
fear.
to want to rule with fear.
Yeah,
maybe,
I don't know.
Okay, maybe here's how they can do it. Like if you want to make a good story, he's teaching. So he, for some reason, it hasn't explained why he's just so on the side of the Sand People yet. But like it's been established he wants to help these people. Maybe because he sees them as being disenfranchised. Right, they're like the natives of the planet, and people are invading and shooting at them from trains. And so he says, "Okay, I want to help these people who need help." So he's going to teach them how to ride speeder bikes. He's going to teach them how to fight back, and they're going to start ruling with fear. They're going to take over the spice trade. They're going to find some space worms. So they're going to start ruling with fear. And it's going to get her killed. And then he's going to say, "Oh, fear will only, violence begets violence, and fear is the mind killer." So
and fear leads
I-
to hate, and hate leads.
and leads to ripping off a franchise. So he's going to be ruling with an iron fist, and it's going to cause her death. It's going to give him remorse. So then he's like, okay, I need. It doesn't make sense why he wants the position at Mos Espa so badly, though.
Well, you know
So
what?
why
So-
does he want to regain?
So if he's the
Maybe
crime
the Huts
boss,
are responsible.
then
That's it. The Huts are responsible for this for sending the spice to Tatooine.
And it's a 4D chess move where he's getting them back
Yes.
on the planet so he can kill them.
Yes.
or he could
Yes.
be
Yes.
going
That's
against
how.
the other
That's how they could save the story.
raiders. He could
That's
be
how it
trying
could be
to get the other raiders in control. You know, the ones that tagged the.
No, at this
Tag
point
the
in the
thing,
story,
whatever.
he already had. He's united all of the raiders under one banner.
Well, it definitely kind of
I
looks
don't know.
like
We'll
he
see.
might
It
be.
might show him doing that in flashbacks, but in the current story, the main story they're trying to tell, he's united the raiders. He's had 5 years to do it. If he hasn't done it by now, he's stupid.
Good point.
He's luring the Fets so he can get revenge on them for killing his shoot. What's her name?
The
Zendaya.
Zendaya's character's name.
I don't know. I've
In-
only
in
read
Dune?
and seen half
Oh,
of Dune.
Ch-
yeah, I watched the movie.
Chithali. Yeah. But like that would be a good story.
Yeah,
would
that
be
would somehow
good
make
choice.
sense. So
I mean, it is
Hopefully
only
they pull it
episode
together.
2, so we'll see where it
Chani.
goes. Right?
Chani.
Chani.
That's where I think they're going with this too.
I'm still.
That's where I hope they go, I think. But
I wonder if they. I'm still trying to think because like the inception of this series and the idea was post credit scene on The Mandalorian. Boba Fett shows up. They kill Bib Fortuna, and he sits on the throne. And I think like masked, mysterious, like classic Boba Fett who just shows up in Empire, and we have like no backstory. Him wanting to just take power, that makes more sense for that version of the character.
yeah,
But what we're getting is so different from just
Yeah.
I'm here because I want money and I don't care who gets in my way. It's a very different character. And that
Mhm.
motivation, I might go back and watch the Mandalorian episodes he's in to see if they had some idea of why the character changed. Because like he didn't just outright kill.
they show him like with sand people in season 1, and like it's like a post credits or like just a end of the episode stinger. I can't remember the specifics. And then he shows up on that one planet with the Robert Rodriguez episode where he just kills a bunch of stormtroopers, and Mando's ship gets blown up, but he gets his armor back, and they steal Baby Yoda, and then that's all you see of him until the end of Mandalorian season 2. He dethrones Bib Fortuna.
Yeah. And I'm one because like when he was like, you have my armor, he wasn't just like, I'm gonna
And
kill you.
my
Like, he gave him a chance to like give it to him. And that I think Boba Fett classic would just been like, that's my armor, bang, bang, gonna murder you, take it back. But now Diet Boba Fett or Boba Fett Crystal is very after his time with the Sand People is a bit more cautious.
Decaf Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Fetty-a-lite.
Fetty light.
That's
Oh,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Look, LaCroix Buffett. That's so hard to say. LaCroix Buffett. That's hard. That's hard to say. So, I had a point. What I think they should be doing with these TV shows is doing the MCU thing. there should be a stinger at the end of all these shows, establishing a Thanos, and so you can get Mandalorian, who teams up with Boba Fett, who teams up with the guy from Rogue One, who's getting a show, who teams up with whoever's going to be in Accolades if that ever gets made, and they have to fight a Thanos.
The problem with that though is all these shows are different timelines, and they're before the sequels. So if there's going to be a Thanos, it's going to be Palpatine showing up or Snoke
somehow.
Yeah, I guess the because the Rogue One character dies, so he can't be in the same timeline. Yeah, he's getting a TV show.
He would be more around
Spoiler
the
alert.
Boba Fett. The Obi. So like I could see Obi-Wan and his show having some overlap, and then it seems like Boba Fett and Mandalorian obviously have some overlap. Ahsoka, I think. Well, I mean, speculating with what we have seen from Ahsoka in the Mandalorian, Grand Admiral Thrawn is supposedly.
I was gonna say they could bring in Thrawn as the Thanos.
That's a good point.
And
they could be teasing Thrawn.
And I think
they did. I think they kind of teased at Thrawn in season 2 of Mandalorian.
In the Seven Samurai episode of the Mandalorian, where they fight the one lady and her Mandalorian spear versus the lightsaber.
Oh, that was the first one. I hated that episode.
Where is Thrawn? And it's like, and I think unfortunately, as a child, I dropped off on the Star Wars extended universe and didn't read a whole lot of that. But Thrawn, he's got some weight behind him in the Star Wars extended universe.
That episode of Mando season 2 could have been the best episode, but it had the worst fight choreography I've ever seen. It was so boring. When Ahsoka was fighting spear lady, it looked like two old ladies hitting each other with sticks and not a force wielder fighting someone with a weapon that could block her lightsaber. She
doesn't fight.
She had a spear. She has a spear.
Yeah.
Spears beat swords in combat because of the range. It's about 80% of the time a spearman will win against someone with a sword. She wasn't using the spear like a spear. She held it like a staff and completely got rid of her advantage.
Yep.
Maybe she needed to do some training with Boba Fett.
It was such a boring fight scene. It was just like it was A New Hope. It was similar to that with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, which is an awful sword fight. But it was cool when it came out because no one ever. It was lightsabers, right? They fixed it. They fixed the sword fighting in The Empire Strikes Back, and that's a great sword fight scene between Luke and Darth Vader. It was just I hated that episode. It started off with a lot of potential with Ahsoka fighting those fighting with her lightsabers, and she shot a tree at a guy. That was super cool. And then it turns into the prison episode from season 1 where everyone splits up. They're like go hunt down the Mandalorian while Ahsoka is fighting the lady, and everyone splits up and they're looking for him, and he teleports behind him and kills him. And then it shows another guy, and they can't find him. And then Mandalorian teleports behind him and kills him. I hated that episode.
Yep.
And Ahsoka's awesome. It could have been great.
I liked Bill Burr in the prison episode. He was.
I liked him. I didn't like that episode. His Bill Burr's in season 2 is the best Mandalorian episode. It's so good.
Yeah, that one was really good.
The spice run or whatever it was. whatever thing they had, whatever MacGuffin they had in the train where they couldn't go too fast, they couldn't jostle it. Ooh, that was a spicy episode.
Yeah,
And like
and then
the ending was
they're
like,
in
oh, he's dead.
complex and in complex with all the stormtroopers, and they have to take his mask off, and that was really good.
Well, and yeah, the best part of it is it shows he's willing to take his 3 times. I forgot about that episode. Pedro Pascal shows his face 3 times. But yeah, the scene where he's like, I'm willing to just like desecrate my religion to save this kid was super good. And then you get the Inglorious Bastards scene between Bill Burr and the Imperial officer, who's like, I like murdering babies, and then he's like, and he shoots him. Like, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
So I hope we get to see cool stuff like that in this show. I want to see some people.
Let's see Boba Fett. Come on.
I want to see disintegrations. But maybe he could disintegrate with respect.
I think he's trying, and they're gonna unleash the beast in a later episode, and like
I hope so.
We'll see a rampage where he's just burning people alive.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think we'll see burning people alive because it's Disney Star Wars, but
well, it's written by Jon Favreau, who's done a pretty good job with the IPs that he's been given.
I like Jon Favreau. But I don't think that he has full control over, we know he doesn't have full control, but Jon Favreau's done some real good stuff. Basically, he started the MCU, and that is, if not the best Iron Man, if it's not the best movie in the MCU, it's at least top 5. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Have you? Oh, did you guys know? So this is off topic, and we should probably be ending the stream soon. Have you guys seen the movie Chef?
No.
Never even heard of it.
Jon Favreau stars in it, and he directed it and wrote it. It's his baby.
Oh, was that on Netflix?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I have seen it.
It's Jon Favreau, and he's married to Sofia Vergara.
He's in a food truck, right?
He's a famous chef, and he quits his job because he has a breakdown about a critic saying that his food is uninspired. He quits his job and starts a food truck to just regain his passion for cooking. It's a really good movie, and it's even better when you realize that the Chef is his story about making Iron Man 2.
Huh.
There's direct parallels of basically him cooking. He became a famous chef by making Iron Man 1, and everyone loved it. And then he had to make a sequel. And in the movie, his boss he wants to innovate and make crazy new things. And his boss saying, no, people want the stuff that you're known for, right? People want the same thing they've been, I can't let you change the menu. I need it to be formulaic so that people will know what to expect. And so a food critic comes and he was supposed to innovate, and he gives him the same bland menu, and he says, oh, this is uninspired. And it's literally his story of like, I wanted to do some cool stuff with Iron Man 2. The studio said, you got to rein it in and give us the beats, right? And it was ultimately his choice. Like, yeah, I still made the movie, and I tried to do it within the limitations, but it just wasn't as good. It's and then he goes and makes an indie film to regain his passion for cooking. Watch Chef. It's really, really good.
Oh, I'm looking
Also,
at
it's
the
got
cast of characters too. Yeah, it's got Scarlett
Sofia
Johansson,
Vergara. It's got Scarlett Johansson. It's
Dustin
got
Hoffman, Robert Downey Jr.
Dustin Hoffman, Robert Downey Jr.
Dude, I didn't realize all those
Robert
were in
Downey Jr. basically cameos in it, and he's straight up talking about Iron Man. Like it's like it's also got that Hispanic guy,
John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's great in the movie. Watch Chef. It's so super good. Watch Iron Man 2 and then watch Chef. I'm serious. It will change. Or watch Chef and then watch Iron Man 2 and then watch Chef again. It's like a religious experience. I'm telling you, it's super good, and like it'll make you cry watching Chef instead of just like enjoying the movie. You're like, oh, like this is like he's pouring his soul out.
Cool beans.
He's done some cool stuff, and I think the times when he's been restricted by producers and executives is when his movies haven't been great. Not a fan of the Jungle Book though. He did the Jungle Book and he did the Lion King. I think that's but that's a common thing in Hollywood, even with directors like Edgar Wright, where if you want to do one of your movies, you have to do one for the studio. They call it, one for them and one for you.
But even so, those movies weren't terrible.
I didn't like them at all, but
I liked the Jungle Book, and although the animated Lion King was infinitely better, it still wasn't bad. I liked some of the things they did.
Okay, I gotta tell a funny story. David brought his kids over to my house, and they're like, let's watch a movie. Let's watch a movie, and your daughter suggested Lion King. I want to watch Lion King. And my son got super excited. He's like, I love the Lion King. Let's watch it. And they put on the live action. Your daughter was talking about the live action Lion King reboot. And it started. And my son, within 10 minutes, just burst down into tears. Dad, this is not the Lion King. I was like, son, I know. Don't I ever know?
Yeah.
I have raised my boy right. He did he did the same thing. We watched the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I unironically love. It is terrible.
Same here.
But what a ride that movie is. It is entertaining. Okay.
Also has John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo. Yep. Yeah. Okay. That's full circle. We can end the podcast. John Leguizamo. That sounds like a euphemism, right? His name.
Don't read too hard into
it. So we started watching the Super Mario Brothers movie, and this is with our friend Jason, and halfway through the movie he's like, Dad, I thought you said that Mario was in this movie. And we just my friend and I just look at each other. It's like, that is exactly the problem, isn't it?
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's a bad movie, but it's so fun.
It is so fun to watch. That movie is a fever dream, and like the set design is dope. It looks so good. I feel like that movie pulled off the most. Like everyone tried to copy Blade Runner in like set design, right? Like that movie. Like the practical effects and just like the look of Blade Runner, everyone was trying to copy that look, and for some reason, they all are terrible, all like the rehashes of Blade Runner, except for the Mario Brothers movie. Like if you're looking at the set dressing of the Mario Brothers movie, it comes the closest to copying like the Blade Runner aesthetic. It's so good. And in turn making it its own thing with like slime everywhere. You know what I like about mud It's dirty and it's clean at the same time. It's terrible. We were talking about Star Wars, I think.
Yeah, we were.
Oh, were we? That's the point of this podcast.
Let's get John Leguizamo in a Star Wars film, please.
That would be awesome.
He would be great.
What kind of character would he play?
He would play a side. Obviously, he'd play a sidekick, the quirky sidekick who says funny things.
Yeah,
He's gonna be
a droid. He could be
a droid.
But I want to see his face. I love John Leguizamo.
Would he be an alien? Would he be like an X-Wing pilot? What do you think? Fan casting.
He could be a pilot. He could be like a Poe Dameron quirky pilot.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Or he could be an alien.
Disney for.
I think he could have more fun as an alien, but then you don't get to see his face.
It depends on how
alien.
Kind of alien.
I think
could be like a Duros or something.
I think he would make a really good. What's the name of the race of aliens? Who's the pilot in Fallen Order? The one with the short guys with 4 arms. There's also one of them in Rogue One as a pilot.
Yeah.
In the Solo movie.
Yeah.
Who coincidentally voiced by John Favreau. So.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Full circles.
Wow, that took a while to get back.
Ouroboros. The Leguizamo eats its own John.
Alrighty then.
Is that the note we're going to end on?
That's the note we're going to end on. Yeah. Thanks for watching the podcast. The show is The Best Generation. We'll see you next week where we talk about episode 3 of Boba Fett. And I'm super excited because on this show, I also want to start talking about The Legend of Vox Machina, if you guys are up for it. It's dropping at the end of January.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
That's the Critical Role being adapted into an animated series by the creators of it. So they're going to be voicing their own characters, and it's animated. It looks fantastic.
Are they adapting like the story that they played through? And,
yes, they're adapting their first campaign of it's not the Mighty Nine, it's the other. I never watched them. I've seen a bunch of clips of their show, and it's very entertaining. It's called The Legend of Vox Machina. It's their first campaign.
That might be a way for me to get into that because I have tried once or twice to be like, oh, what's going on with Critical Role? And then it's like, here's a 4-hour show and a 10-second recap of what happened in the last. And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah. I've watched a ton of just clips on YouTube or that people have accumulated. I'm like, these guys are entertaining. I don't have time to invest in this, but I'm super excited. I'm super happy for them. And I'm excited for their TV show. I think it drops it's going to be airing on Fridays, which will be perfect for the show. So we can watch Boba Fett on Wednesdays, and Boba Fett should be coming to a close. I think it's going to be 8 episodes. Boba Fett, maybe 10. I don't know. But Vox Machina.
We're gonna do a CW show like we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but
I will if you make me. But please no. We've got so many other good shows. I've been watching Arcane. We talked about that a little bit.
As soon as you guys finish watching Arcane, we'll talk about it. Vox Machina airs
5 or 6, I think.
Vox Machina airs January 8th, so that's 3. That's 2 weeks.
That was yesterday. January.
Do you mean February 8th?
January 8th.
January 28th.
Oh, 28th.
28th.
So in 3 shows, we'll be talking about Vox Machina and Boba Fett.
Oh, so apparently, according to Wikipedia, Book of Boba Fett is going to be 7 episodes.
Okay, so even less. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll transition to that show. But yeah, I'd like to do a CW show, but I think for now we have a lot of content to go over. And I, as soon as you guys are done watching Arcane, we'll talk about Arcane on the show.
So good.
But that one aired before we started doing this, so it's super good.
Yeah, it's
Go
been
watch
pretty good so
Arcane. Go watch Arcane. Then watch Iron Man 2.
Ooh.
Then watch Chef. Then finish watching Arcane. Then watch Chef again. Then
Can
watch
I-
the Mario Brothers. And then
Can
we
I
can
offer?
do all that before next week. That's your homework
Man.
assignment.
This sounds like more than the
Yes.
homework that I have for school right now.
Should we talk about Chef? Let's talk about Chef. Can you guys commit to watching it?
I'll watch. I was thinking
It's
about
good.
turning it on as soon as we got off.
It's
here.
so
'Cause I
good.
gotta-
It's
I
emotional.
slept all day.
You had a
and
thing
I
you
also
wanted to
have
say.
to do
Tanner.
laundry, so
You had a
Chef
thing you wanted to
streaming
say.
anywhere?
thought I would put that on. Can I offer a suggestion as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
On Netflix, Kyle Mooney did a series that is parodying old 1980s, 1990s Saturday morning cartoons, and it is really good.
What's it called?
It is called Saturday Morning
Morning.
All-Star. It abbreviates to SMASH. Let me look real quick.
Smash. Yeah.
Saturday morning
All-Star Hit.
All-Star Hits. It starts as like a goofy parody thing, but then like
Becomes its own thing.
it gets pretty. It takes on its own
So
thing, and it has recurring characters. It's
Is
it's
it
good.
like a variety show, or is it animated? Is it like a story?
So it follows. It basically starts with the framing of the show is
It's
each
episodic.
episode is
Making fun of a different genre.
it's an
or different
old
show.
home no
Okay.
it's an old home videotape where they have recorded this Saturday morning block of programs. And so-
okay.
That's fun.
So it has like the goofy kid hosts who are like, "Oh, welcome back to next up. We got an episode," and Kyle plays both of those characters. And then they have recurring cartoons that have like coherent, like season-driven plots. And then, like as time passes, new cartoons are introduced and different things happen.
This sounds amazing.
It was good, and it's dark, and it's hilarious, and it's especially for me. There's a running bit about how "shut up" is something kids shouldn't say, and how the cartoon saying "shut up" is bad. And my parents wouldn't let me say "shut up" when I was a kid.
I got slapped for saying "shut up." as a
Yeah, so that's one of the recurring things is like parents being like, "Oh, they're saying S up on the show, and that's corrupting our kids." It's hilarious.
Yeah, there's 8 episodes. They're like 20-30 minutes each.
Yeah, I watched it in like 2 days, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. Let's
I
talk
better
about that
start
next
watching.
week. So next week is Boba Fett episode 3 and
Chef,
Saturday morning all-star hits. Smash.
All I can say is I'm
Um,
getting worried. Getting worried, guys.
And then Chef.
and then Iron Man 2, and then you
how
put
many
Chef
episodes? How
and
many
Iron
episodes
Man
do you want to
2.
commit to then? How many episodes of Smash?
I've watched the whole thing.
Oh, are we talking to me?
Yeah.
Yes, me.
Also, you need to finish Arcane. You've already
Oh, I've
finished
already
it.
seen
David needs to work.
Yeah, I've already seen it all.
Put
Yeah, I think I'm
Smash
gonna
on the
put 5 or
back
6.
burner. It'll be there.
Okay.
I don't know how much of it there is.
I
to talk
guarantee
about.
I'll watch the first 2 episodes by next week. That's what I can promise.
At least comment on it.
Okay. All right. It's been a blast. We'll see you guys next week talking about lots of stuff. Thanks for being here. Hope you had a good time. Love you guys. Bye.
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 Bye.